Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that helps you become your best self. And today we are talking about how to stop letting other people's opinions control you. But before we jump into that, as always, I want to invite you to come say hi to me on Instagram. I am at Sabrina Joy Perozzo. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to become friends. I am able to answer any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, topics, suggestions, or just to say hi and chit-chat with me in the DMs. You can also send me an email to realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com, and you are welcome to visit my website, which is sabrinajoy.com. All of this information is available for you down in the show notes below, and on my website, you are able to send me a message that way through the Contact Me page, or you can sign up for my newsletter that'll be coming at the end of this month, March 2022, if you're listening to this later. And what's the other thing? Oh, right. So right now I have a freebie up for you guys. It's 50 questions to help you become more self-aware. And so 50 questions for you to dive into and really ask yourself and help you become more self-aware, to understand your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your decisions, and to know yourself better so that you can control your emotions and really lean more into responding rather than reacting. So again, all that information is available down in the show notes below. Let's go ahead and jump into today's topic, which again is how to stop letting other people's opinions control you. Being liked by everyone, by everyone, used to be a necessity for me. A necessity, kind of like eating lunch and having clothes that were washed. I'm just really thinking back to being a young child, and those things were important to me, and being liked by everyone was important to me. It was a necessity. I needed it. I had to be liked by everyone, or I felt like a failure. Yeah, I truly did. I felt like a failure, and that my existence on earth didn't matter. Dramatic. I know. I can be dramatic. If you're new here, I am just letting you know that I am, and I have been a lot in my life. But that's where my mindset was. That's what I believed, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that might sadden you, right? But that was my real life, and maybe that's a lot of your guys' real life, that you just needed to be liked, right? That was like your number one goal in life. But despite it being dramatic, that's how I felt, because pleasing others was so deeply ingrained in me, and being accepted by others was what made me feel safe. Definitely safe. And I wanted to mention that because I feel like that is definitely something that a lot of people can understand and relate with. The feeling, especially in childhood, the feeling of needing to be safe. I needed a place to feel safe since I didn't at home. So school, church, any other activity outside of my house with others had to be the place for me. That had to be the place where I was safe. And it seemed that with people in my life that liked me, I felt safe. They weren't going to attack me. They weren't going to yell at me. I wasn't going to be in trouble. And I would be acknowledged as a human. And that was important. But of course, the problem with being obsessed with other people liking you is that you make that need more important than anything else. It's a top priority. It's way up there past eating lunch. It's so important. And what those people say and how they feel about what you decide to do or don't do becomes truth for you. They become absolute truths that you just lean on and live your life by. And this is because, you have gotten so used to them liking you that the possibility of them not liking you anymore due to, you doing something opposite of their advice is scary and crippling to your own thoughts and opinions. You're just like, oh my gosh, I cannot step out and do anything different. And especially if it's been working for you. If you have found people and you do what they tell you to do, or you do something and they say it's terrible and you just amend it to the way that they had said, and then they accept you or give you praise, it's basically, don't be offended, but if you're offended, that's fine. You're welcome to do that. But It's kind of like training a dog. You give them a treat when they do something good, and you discipline them when they don't, and you take away the attention. And so, you are essentially allowing yourself to be trained to honor their feelings and opinions rather than seeking out and being comforted by your own. And, I know that we all want to be liked and accepted. It's a natural human desire, right? But some of us take it too far. I certainly did, obviously, being dramatic and all. And I missed out on really being me for the longest time because of it. I just thought it was better. I thought it was easier. I thought it would, just fit my life better than how life was going, right? And it was one less thing to worry about, is one less thing to feel overly anxious about. I didn't need anything else on my plate at the time. And as life progressed and seemed to get more difficult. And, I realized that fitting in and being a part of something, group, people, can garner more respect from others and even make life easier at times. But it's really creating more problems than it's solving, right? You're living your life based on conditions set by others, not actual acceptance. They are setting their conditions. The conditions are, you need to live and die by my opinion, and if you don't, we will exile you. You will be no more. You will be nothing. And you'll feel like nothing because you've, fed into these lies for so long, accepting these lies as truths, and you don't know how to be without it. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a way for you to not. There is, obviously. That's what we're going to talk about today. But in the moment, if you don't allow yourself to kind of like look around and see from a different perspective that life can be different and better, then if you don't do that, it'll be so much harder to pull yourself away from this behavior. But again, I want you to know you're living your life based on conditions set by others, not actual acceptance. And I understand that many of us developed this behavior, myself included, of course, because at one time in our lives, affection, care, and acceptance was conditional. And we learned how to play the game, right? There are so many games in my childhood I learned how to play. And I don't mean life in Monopoly, although those games were awesome. No, I'm talking about the game of life, how to fit in, how to manipulate, how to survive. And if you are being deprived of those core things that you need, you will learn how to play the game so that you can get them. But I'm here to tell you and myself as a reminder, always these episodes are for myself as well, that we no longer need to do this. We no longer need to play this game that we are so accustomed to, because there is another way. We are going to, and I'm excited to share this, we are going to create a new mindset today that echoes the truths of not needing to fit in to be successful, to be respected, or even to live a good life, right? Because a lot of those things, why we just continue to conform to the way that we were with other people's opinions guiding our life, is so we can be respected and be successful and have a good life. But no, we are here to create a new mindset today. You can make your own decisions and bonus and like who you are and still have all those things, still have respect, success, a good life. It's actually liberating to be let go and have freedom from other people's opinions. It's scary at first, but it's liberating so much once you get used to it, once you live in it, once you fully breathe in it. It's kind of like, when you get into a pool or like a lake or something, a body of water, and you're cold at first, unless it's a crazy nice heated pool or it's a hot day, but you're like, oh, you don't want to you're cold and you're shaking because you haven't put your whole body in the water. You got to put your whole body in. Dunk your whole body in. So you can acclimate to the situation that you're in, which is being liberated from other people's opinions. So today I'm going to share with you 7 ways to stop letting other people's opinions control you. I was very excited when I wrote this episode, so buckle up because I think it's going to be good. Okay, 7. Number 1, stop feeling embarrassed. Stop feeling embarrassed. It's an interesting one to start off with, to jump right off that cliff into being your own person and not living by other people's opinions. It's a good one. So if you feel embarrassed to like wear a swimsuit in public, I definitely fit that. Film yourself in public, which I'm trying to do more, but that's sometimes scary. If that's something that you want to do, document your life. Eat in public, go to the movies in public, do any of these things. Understand that if you feel embarrassment from doing these things despite wanting to, understand you are projecting your feelings of yourself onto others to avoid becoming aware and dealing with your own emotions. You are like, oh my gosh, if I wear a swimsuit in public, people are going to think that I'm fat, or I'm overweight, or I don't fit it right, or I don't look good, blah, blah, blah. Like all these other things, right? When really you're just saying, oh, I am fat, or I am unflattering, and I have yet to take the time to deal with those emotions of how I feel. I'm going to project it onto someone else, and that'll be a way for me to have an excuse to not do it, right? What I do in these situations when I'm feeling or about to feel embarrassed is I ask myself why it matters if they disapprove of me in these moments. Like why? Like truly why? Why does it matter? Why does it matter if someone looks at me and is like, oh my gosh, you're fat in that swimming suit? Kind of hurts my feelings a little bit, but it's like, why does it matter? It's like I could just have my feelings be hurt for a moment and be like, you know what? I feel good in this swimming suit. Or my husband thinks I'm hot in this swimming suit and it's okay. I am about to enjoy the beach, be on the boat. I'm never on a boat, but if I were on the boat in this swimming suit, I am going to live my best life in this swimming suit, right? I have to actually ask myself, like, why does it matter? And then what are the consequences? Like, what are the consequences of not caring and not being embarrassed, right? Like, what are they going to do to me? Like, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, you don't look good in that swimming suit. Why are you wearing it out in public? Okay, if you just continue to wear it and be like, I just am, it doesn't matter to me what you think. Like, what are the consequences of that? Probably nothing. Maybe they'll say something, maybe they'll be snarky. Maybe someone will actually catcall you. I don't know. I'm not hoping any of these things for you. I'm just like getting your mind to really think like, what are the actual consequences? And then ask you like, however, like if you are starting to feel embarrassed, how will it truly affect you 20 minutes from now? Like whatever like prying eyes and, negative words and any meanness that comes out from them, anything that, you might think they are doing or they are doing, that would cause you to feel embarrassed of your current situation, like, will it actually matter 20 minutes from now? Will you still continue to ruminate on it? Will it affect your life? Will it change the course of everything that is about to happen for the rest of the day? Only if you let it, to be honest. You can let it. You shouldn't, but you can let it. And if you let embarrassment consume you, it will. And if you don't, it won't. I know that's super simple. And, my coach tells me a lot that like a lot of things are simple in saying it. That doesn't mean it isn't hard to do. It's simple in saying it, but it's hard to do. And so, if it might sound simple to say that if you let embarrassment consume you, it will. It will. But if you don't, it won't. And just because if you don't, it won't, doesn't mean that's easy. It's a simplistic way to think about it. And yes, maybe you're worried about people talking about you, saying little remarks, maybe rumors even. If they do, they weren't really your friends, right? Or people that cared about you, or people really worthy of being in your life right now. And I say right now because I don't want to be that person that just like kicks everyone out of our lives like forever, because people can make amends, people can grow, people can change, people can become more mature and be worthy of being in your life, right? So they weren't really your friends, and you probably don't depend on them for anything if you know them, so you don't need them, right? You don't need them right now. And if people are needing to be so busy in your life, like enough to like say things about you, to you, be talking behind your back, care so much about the fact that you are in a swimsuit in public, or that you're videoing yourself on your phone walking down the street, like if they are so busy in your life, just think, oh, this one gets me, and it kind of helps me. Just think about the problems they must be avoiding in their own life to focus so hardly on yours. Think about the criticism and the opinions that they are being burdened with, and so they are deciding to do that to someone else because they don't have the self-awareness and emotional intelligence to deal with what they are going through. It's like the concept of a bully. A bully bullies because they were bullied. And so they do what was done to them to others because it seems like what you're supposed to do. And also the pain of trying to get from up under your own bully is casted and projected onto other people because you can't figure out a better way yet. So it's not me making excuses for bullies. I'm just telling you how it goes. So stop feeling embarrassed. Understand that it doesn't really matter. It won't affect you 20 minutes from now. And they're really just trying to be all up in your business because they're too afraid to really figure out their own business. Number 2, become more self-aware. I don't have a whole lot to say about this because I talk about it all of the time, but it's important to become self-aware. Also, if you want to practice this, again, if you look in the show notes, I do offer 50 questions for how you can become more self-aware. But becoming more self-aware, you want to examine your feelings and thoughts about needing to abide by other people's opinions and ask yourself why, to get to the bottom of it. Like, why? Why do you feel this way? Why is it important to you? Why did you start? Why can't you stop, right? Other questions. Why is this a lifeline for you? Right? Why are their opinions a lifeline for you? What will happen if you let go of this lifeline, of their opinions? Who will you lose? Will you lose people in your life because you let go of this? People that you think you're close to, that you think are your friends, your confidants, people that you can trust? What changes will happen in your life because of it? Because you let go of this lifeline, because you decide to no longer be so consumed with the opinions of others on you. And the kicker of the question to consider is, have you been avoiding those changes all along? Have these changes needed to come into your life? Not necessarily just like not continuing to live by other people's opinions, but just any change where these people will go away. Maybe you'll have like different activities, different hobbies. Maybe you will meet new people. Maybe you'll even have a new job, like whatever it is. Have you been avoiding these changes all along? Because it's easy and it's comfortable to stay in your little comfort zone and not do anything because you've adapted and it feels like the best place to be because trying something new is always scary. So I just want you to really consider, become more self-aware to understand why you're allowing yourself to live your life based on other people's opinions. It'll help to open your eyes and your mind to be like, wow, I don't know why, or I know why, and I need to let go of those reasons because they are not helping you in any way. Number 3, learn to trust yourself. I am personally learning to trust myself a lot, especially in my coaching group because it's a small group. So when the coach is teaching something and then they're asking for feedback or class participation, you get called on. And I've never been that person. I was telling my therapist today, I've never been that person that's in a classroom that will willingly raise my hand and I never want to be called on. I was always like present and listening and taking notes, but I'd be that person that would gather all the information in the notes and try to teach it to myself later if I didn't understand, because I didn't want to be that person that I was so self-conscious, and I didn't want to raise my hand and be like, yeah, I have a suggestion, or I have a thought, in fear of being wrong or being called out, or, and people thinking I'm stupid. It was so much, so self-conscious growing up. But even still, so learning to trust myself and understanding like, yeah, you might get some things wrong and you might get some things right. And, if you don't take chances in trusting yourself, you'll never see the beauty and the ease in it, right? It's important to understand that you won't feel comfortable until you start doing it. And that's with everything, right? It's like with working out. You're not going to maybe you love it on day 1, but day 3, you'll be like, oh, this is getting so hard and getting fatigued. But you have to do it more for you to become comfortable in it and understand that some days are going to be better than others, but it all is worth it. It's worth the time and the energy. And the more that you trust yourself, the more you'll feel comfortable doing it on your own, doing whatever it is on your own, making decisions on your own. So you have to trust like your thoughts and your opinions of yourself. And you'll love and will learn to let go of living and dying by other people's opinions, because you are satisfied with your own. The more that you trust yourself of like, yeah, I am going to wear this outfit to this place. So yeah, I am going to wear that bathing suit, even though they said that it makes me look whatever kind of way. Or I am going to, audition for this thing. I am going to submit for that job. I am going to talk to that person. You're going to do the things. I am going to start a podcast. I am going to start posting pictures of my food that I like to make on social media. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to trust myself that it's going to work out. And if it doesn't work out, I'm going to learn a lesson from it. And it's going to be okay. It's not going to be the end of the world. So learn to trust yourself, because the more that you do, the less that you'll be relying on other people's opinions. Number 4, find better friends. Yeah, this is a good one, I think. I think they're all good, but you know what I mean. Find better friends. Actual, real good friends won't force you to do stuff, and they won't drop you like a rock if you go against their advice. Absolutely not. It's those people that are super insecure, and if they find people that are able to manipulate and do everything that they tell them to do, or give them opinions, and then they follow along like little sheep, they get addicted to that behavior. And if that stops continuing to happen, they get bored or they get frustrated and they want to move on, and it's not worth their trouble anymore. Understand that. And, again, they're not going to drop you like a rock. Real friends, real peeps in your life, if you go against their advice, because it's advice, right? Not the gospel truth. And everything has everyone has a different perspective on how to go about life. Someone's opinion is not the gospel truth. It's not the thing that you need to live and die by. It's not the thing that's going to save you in any way. What if someone, their opinion is wrong? What if their opinion is wrong? You also want people in your life that will challenge you to consider multiple options when making a decision. Multiple options. It's the smart way to go. And you want friends with open minds that can be empathetic and admit when they don't know something. It's so respectful of someone to admit, hey, I don't really know, but I can try to find out for you, or we can find out together, or we can find someone that does. So good. So good. So vulnerable, so transparent, so real. Okay? Because not everyone knows everything. They just don't. People pretend they do, but they don't. They don't. You might also need to be alone for a bit until those people come around. So you want to find better friends. You want to find better people to surround yourself with. And you might have some seasons of being alone. I'm careful not to say loneliness, because there can be times where you are alone and not lonely. I am in that season. So you might be alone until those people come into your life, which is okay. It's a good time to grow on your own and focus on yourself and whatever you may need to do during that season. Number 5, embrace failures and mistakes. Again, I don't want to go on and on about this because I talk about it all of the dang time, but it's important. It's always important to embrace failures and mistakes. We can depend on other people's opinions because it's easier to just do what someone tells us to do rather than think on our own. You're just following directions. You're just doing the thing. Because then you don't have to do it. It also gives us someone to blame when it doesn't go the way we'd like. When it doesn't go the way that they said it would go. You're like, oh, perfect. I don't have to take responsibility for this. Someone else has to. Because being a victim is easy as pie. And being yourself is hard, but being yourself is actually worth it. It's actually worth it every single moment of it. When it's hard, when it's easy, when it's confusing, and when it's painful, and when it's joyous. It is worth every moment. So embrace failures and mistakes. And I want you to ask yourself, how will you learn anything new or become better if you don't navigate through mistakes and failures? You won't. That's the answer. You won't. But I want you to ask yourself that because maybe you have a different answer or a different way for you to understand and absorb that truth that you need to. You have to. We're not robots. You can't just be imparted with new knowledge and updates. It doesn't work that way. Also ask yourself, who do I think that I am that I can be perfect and not have to embrace those things or endure them? Because no one's perfect except for God. And so, who do you think you are that you can be perfect? You cannot. None of us can, and that's okay. Number 6, you're going to need thick skin. Definitely to not allow other people's opinions to control your life. For sure, you're going to need thick skin. It's important. I take most things personally. I take most things personally. But I'm working on it daily, on the daily. It feeds into me not wanting others to see me in a negative light because, shocker, I want everyone to like me, right? And I'm moving away from that, of course, but it still lingers there. However, I remind myself every day that not everyone is going to like me. And I do actually remind myself of this because it's important for me to understand that that is an impossible goal for everyone to like me, right? Think about Jesus. Not everyone likes Jesus, and he's the most amazing. So not everyone's going to like me. And maybe you can remind yourself of that too, because it makes it a lot easier for you to endure some of the pain that people throw at us. And we all have our own biases, and that's that. So it's just impossible goal for us to have everyone like us. And some people may go out of their way to hurt you because they want to get ahead, right? That's their intention. That is their goal, right? It's if someone goes behind your back and does something at work and they end up getting the promotion over you, it's because they wanted to get ahead. It was not some sort of personal vendetta against you, most likely. It was for their own gain. They wanted to hurt you to get ahead because it feeds their ego. And it's not really about you, it's about them. It's totally about them. Let's not make excuses for bad behavior. Of course, I don't condone you doing these things or make excuses for people that do, but it's what they are doing because it's about them. So you need to learn to accept that it's about them and not you. And also, it can be really helpful for you to lean into gratitude, to have thick skin, because you'll realize how blessed you are with the life that you have already, even if you are, manifesting for better things to come. Despite that, have gratitude for the life that you have, and someone may be trying to hurt you because they don't, right? If you're reflecting on the life, the amazing things and opportunities and the people that you have in your life, and you're like, okay, I'm not going to let their comments or mean things get to me because I am so grateful that I do have this great life despite those random moments. But they might be mean to you because they don't have what you have. Or maybe they do have what you have, or even more, but struggle with not having the right things or the right people to fulfill them. It's those people that are like rich and they have everything. It seems like they have everything their heart desires, but they are missing something. They're missing good friends. They're missing great parents. They're missing that job that fulfills them rather than the one that only gives them like a boatload of money. You have to remember that a lot of times when people are hurting us, they're doing it for their own gain, not necessarily their own gain, not game, their own gain, not necessarily just to see you struggle. So widening your perspective of life will also help you realize that the meanness you receive, again, isn't about you. It's about the other person and the game that they are deciding to play. So you'll need thick skin to not allow other people's opinions to control you so that you can kind of just like learn to let other people's meanness bounce off of you and move right along. Now you can feel hurt, you can feel whatever you want to feel. You're just becoming more resilient and not allowing those things to kick you over into a pit of despair. Number 7, the last one. We're at the end, my friends. Number 7 is evaluate how happy you actually are. When I put this one in here, I was like, it's important, but I hope people understand that it's important and it's not fluff at all. It's important, and I've realized the importance of actually evaluating how happy that I am in a lot of things because it makes a difference. It makes a difference on how much you can enjoy life. It makes a difference on how you are able to become more resilient and bounce back from struggles and problems that you are going through. It just makes life better. So evaluate how happy you are. So ask yourself, do you feel free? Do you feel unbothered? Unbothered is my word of the year. Maybe next year's too. Do you know where you're headed in life? Do you see a plan? Do you see goals in front of you? And what goals do you have for yourself? And unfortunately, you won't be able to answer some of these questions if you're constantly burdened by what others think of you, because you won't know your goals if you're constantly trying to do whatever someone else wants you to do. And you won't know where you're headed because you're not on your own path. And you probably don't feel unbothered because you're constantly bothered by what someone else wants. You won't be able to answer these questions or understand and be able to properly evaluate how happy you are because you aren't using your own mind. You've leased that space to someone else. Someone else has taken up residence in your mind because you've allowed them to, because you are so dependent on their opinions. And I'm just going to say it, being someone else's puppet might make life easier, and being accepted may feel comfortable, but are you actually happy? Being comfortable and life being easy doesn't equate to happiness. It really doesn't, because you can still miss being fulfilled and the happiness of being challenged. Being someone else's puppet doesn't give you that. Do you find yourself fulfilled or not fulfilled? Do you find yourself filled with joy because of the decisions that you make? Do you look at yourself in the mirror and feel like you're honoring who you actually are? That's hard to do when you're living life for someone else. I'm telling you, it's really difficult. When you're living your life for someone else, when you are allowing the space in your mind to be leased by someone else's opinions, you won't be able to really evaluate how happy you are because you don't even know. You don't know. You're not operating as you. You're operating as a dummy of someone else. I know that might seem harsh, but it's true. And I want you to think of it that way because it'll help snap you out of this mindset where you have to continually rely on someone else's opinions for your life to be good. Living life based on someone else's opinions makes you an extension of them, leaving you behind, leaving the true you behind, leaving who you really are behind, just waste away and become nothing. And yeah, you can come back to that at some point. I encourage us all to do. That's why we're here. But the sooner you do it, the better, because the less work you'll have to do to revive yourself. But no matter what state you go back to yourself at, like there's never going to be a time where you're like, well, I've waited too long, I might as well just continue status quo. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not saying that at all. I just want you to rush back to yourself sooner rather than later. No matter the consequences or what you feel you might lose, you will gain so much more than that. You'll just have to be patient to see those gains over time. So, again, evaluate how happy you actually are. And if you aren't happy, something needs to change. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, with me, Sabrina. I really hope this episode has helped you. And again, I thank you for downloading, sharing, and listening to this show. It is amazing that you guys take the time to do that. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Again, check out the show notes below for notes for the show, where to find my website, where to get that free guide of 50 questions to become more self-aware. You can send me an email to realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com, or come say hi to me on Instagram at Sabrina Joy Perozzo. But also, I need more suggestions on what to talk about here on the show, so send those too. So until next time, have a good one, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everyone.